message for the ladies and gentlemen around the world and all the ships at sea.
We all make choices, but in the end, our choices make us.
So choose wisely. Subscribe to It's Erik Nagel wherever shows are found, on whatever platform you choose. And as always, leave us a positive review. Would you kindly? It's Erik Nagel. It starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear.
It's Erik Nagel.
Hello and welcome to It's Erik Nagel. This would be part 2 of our San Diego Comic-Con coverage. My name is Erik. Over in the Upside Down, that is Giddles.
What up, buddy?
And joining us for part 2, we haven't talked to this gentleman in a while, over in the right side up is Matt OG.
Oh, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Matt.
Peachy keen jelly beans.
It's been a while, sir. We have missed you.
I apologize, but you know, these things happen.
Matt's off doing his own thing. He's a big shot in the Twitch world now, ladies and gentlemen. Go over to Twitch. It's twitch.tv, right? Not twitch.com?
It is twitch.tv, but I think if you go to twitch.com, it
does the same thing.
I think it redirects automatically. But yes, the correct URL is twitch.tv/geekstuffog.
There you go. Go over to his channel. Do yourself a favor and subscribe to Matt's channel. He's live about 3 nights a week. Oh, also, if you have Amazon Prime, if you're a Prime member, costs you nothing in the sense of additional money, but Prime gives you 1 month subscriptions to use on Twitch. So you have to renew it every month and just go and click the button again. But if you go over there, you're a Prime member, log in through your Prime, you hit subscribe, and you give a free subscription to yourself, but it helps Matt OG out with his Twitch account.
It does indeed.
Matt's doing 3 nights a week. One night is, what is it called now? Roll with it, baby?
Well, one is Roll For It, which is our live stream D&D game. It's myself, Giddles, and a couple of other friends. That's every Monday night. Thursday night is my fireside chat, which is it's a just chatting stream. It's open format. And then Wednesday night kind of rotates between a couple of different things, but it's a somewhat rotating schedule. But Wednesday night's more of a free for all.
I see that sometimes on Wednesday night, if you're not streaming your gameplay, you're building things and you're showing people how you build certain crafts. What are you building?
Yeah, we do crafting. We're also doing D&D for noobs for people who want to learn to play. But right now I'm crafting. Well, I've been crafting a couple different things.
What's the blue thing that I see you posting online?
I'm making dungeon walls or terrain walls for
a fish tank,
a water-based dungeon or campaign.
Water-based. Good to know.
Yeah, Matt was like, he starts posting photos of doing this. I don't know what he's doing. It looks like he's taking fish tank gravel and molding it into something. And then then he has these little strips, maybe about 8 inches, right?
Yeah.
About 8 inches, and they look like gravel walls, and I still don't know what he's doing, but he's very excited about it. He's posting, but he doesn't give you any information about what it is. And then all of a sudden, he's got a legion of these things. He's like, I was only going to do 4, but I guess that didn't happen. And then there's all of these things. So I was curious.
Well, it was too hot to do most of anything else today, so I propped myself up in front of the air conditioner with all of my supplies, and I just started drinking beer and making shit.
That's what you do in this weather. It's just like you try and find things to do inside. I was like working on recipes. I was like cleaning my room. Like, what do I have to do so I don't have to go out into this heat?
Yeah, because I went outside to cook because it was a little too hot to cook inside. So I went outside to grill, and I came inside, and it looked like it had rained on me.
Right.
And I was like, oh, this is terrible. This is not a good idea.
I have to say something, and I'm sure you will 100% relate to this, Matt. But as a person who's losing their hair, I had no idea how much sweat could amass on top of my head without I go to wipe my head, like it's an ocean of water balancing up there. How? Yeah. How does that happen?
It's now I understand the early 90s where every bald black guy in a rap video had a do-rag on.
Yeah, it makes so much more sense.
It's all become so much clearer. And you can't wear a hat because that just makes it worse.
Oh, it's awful, dude.
Why does a hat make it worse?
Because the hat just absorbs all the heat.
Yeah, and it's just
it makes your head hotter.
What if you get one of those trucker hats?
Doesn't matter.
No.
Then the sun's just gonna come through, and you have a weird like suntan through the holes.
Oh, so
It's
do
gonna
I
look like someone It's gonna look like someone beat you with a fly swatter.
So do I sweat, absorb, and ruin the hat that I'm wearing, or do I air it out and still burn? So the hat is pretty much pointless.
What you do is you go like this. Oh boy, it's hot today, and you just walk around. And you go like this, and then you go like that, and you leave its trail, and then you just keep moving.
I had a wet paper towel on my head standing in front of the grill because it was the only option.
Yeah, dude.
You take one of those hats and you're just using it to fan yourself, and then
That's it.
People keep telling you, like in school, when the teacher would yell after gym
It
class.
only makes you hotter.
Yeah, stop. Don't fan yourself. It only makes you hotter. Lady, just teach English. I'm going to fan myself here with this clamshell loose leaf fan that I just made. I'm not
always said that
bothering
'cause
you.
Yeah, and they always said that because they couldn't fan themselves. They were just
That's
like,
right.
"Fuck
That's
you,
what it
kid."
was. That's right.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here and fan myself and maybe enjoy a juice box.
That's right.
Yeah.
I would like to have a nice mint julep with a fan, please.
If you don't like,
I could be so bold.
if you don't like this, then change this class to not when I'm after gym.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome to this program here. Look, we started off with an episode that came out for Friday, which is about a 2-hour episode. But we had to switch everything around because stuff kept changing so fast. So now this is part 3. The other show got broken up into 2 parts. You have the show. You have part 1 for San Diego, which Giddles and I just did. And now we're going to venture into part 2, which is the latter half of San Diego Comic-Con, and then recapping some stuff with Matt, who wasn't here for the first part. It sounds confusing, but you're already listening to this, so you probably figured it out.
There you go.
There was no
See?
point for me telling you this. I was just filling time. Here we go into San Diego stuff.
Yeah. The latter half, a.k.a. the good stuff.
Yes.
Exactly.
Before we get all into the latter stuff, the previous stuff, Matt OG, you were not here for the first couple of days, the announcements that came out. Was there anything that you found particularly interesting? Anything that you were excited for?
You know what? Honestly, I felt that San Diego this year, up until yesterday, had been pretty lackluster.
I thought so. It didn't seem like enough was happening.
Now, even on social media, it was very quiet. Like, I didn't see a ton of photos like I normally do. It didn't seem like the trailers were hitting hot and heavy like they normally do. It just seemed like a very lackluster year. A lot of people that I know that I reached out to that was like, you know, I text a couple of people and I'm like, hey, how's San Diego? And they're like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't go this year. I was like, oh, neither did I. So that kind of worked out. So
didn't it seem leading into this one, because of everything Disney's been doing within the last year since the last San Diego, where they were making announcements, obviously the theme park, but they were going to do a bunch of announcements at Celebration, which just passed not too long ago. And then they got the Disney convention coming up. I forget what number it is. If it's
D23 is the name of the convention. I don't know what year it is. It's only in its like 5th or 6th
Is it
year.
D23 every year?
Yeah.
Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I thought it was like UFC counting, like
No,
D24,
no.
D23.
D23 is the name of the exclusive Disney club. It's that very exclusive like restaurant and membership club that like only the elite are members to.
Diners Club.
The name of their convention is D23.
Oh, so it doesn't change names each year.
Correct.
All right, my bad. In the previous episode, I said it was like UFC counting, like each year, 24, 25, 26, like that. So the D23 convention, which is coming up in fairly soon,
August.
right? Yeah,
it's the middle or end of August.
It's it's in the convention center in Anaheim.
Yeah.
And really what was going on this past year was that there was stuff that was going to be released on Celebration, like I said, stuff that was going to be released at D23. It didn't seem like there was going to be much presence for anything Disney-wise at San Diego. Meaning Marvel, meaning Star Wars,
Right.
meaning Disney proper, meaning Pixar, and any of their properties. It didn't seem like they needed to be at San Diego anymore. Now that, you know, all these deals were done, they have Celebration. They have their own thing. And but right a couple weeks before San Diego, they were starting to reveal little bits of what to expect at D23. And one of the big bombshells was that it was going to kick off with The Simpsons. Not just also a signing thing, which was crazy that they're going to do, but there's a presentation and stuff that's going to be there. Apparently, the voice talent's going to be there. Matt Groening's going to be there. They're going to present some kind of video thing at the beginning of that.
Oh, yeah. It's all the things.
Yeah, so it's like, well, what do you need San Diego for if you're Disney? Because you have everything now.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Marvel did as much as they did. I think they're going to follow up with it with more at D23. Look, San Diego still carries a lot of clout I don't know how many more years that will last because I feel like it's starting to fade.
Well, the whole point of what I just said was feeling like it was killing the momentum and the specialness of San Diego being the place where everybody makes their announcements and everybody launches what's going to happen for the next year or so.
What's happened is San Diego has become too difficult for people to manage. Everybody I know that didn't go this year was like, oh, I didn't feel like dealing with the hotel lottery this year, or
which we lucked out, by the way,
but I couldn't get tickets, that kind of stuff, you know.
Imagine in the past that
tired.
Imagine in the past when Matt and I used to go to do the shows from San Diego, it was always up to us to find the hotel lodging. Like Sirius took care of everything, but we had to book everything. So Matt and I were always every year trying to find out and book as early as possible what hotel we could get the best possible location, which would be the one that we had. We stayed at last time, the Hilton Bayfront, which is right on property.
That's one of the best places to stay.
Literally right across from the convention center on property, not crossing the highway, the light rail, all that stuff right there. You look out your window. We had one of the best views. You had the bay, you had the Naval Yard, you had the convention center, you had downtown, the Gaslamp district, and all of that stuff. That's the hotel you want to be. Now it's not even a matter of finding availability, like Matt just said, this lottery thing. I can see why people didn't want to go there because you had to go into a lottery. Like you go into a lottery to get a ticket to stand online in Funko, at Hasbro, at Mattel, all of these different things. Now you have to, in order to get lodging, it's not just, hey, I made the right, connections and got everything going at the right time. It's, well, you have to wait and see if you qualify to get a hotel room.
Well, I think if you get tickets and request lodging, you're guaranteed some sort of lodging. The problem is that everybody wants to stay close, right? So you could end up, like where we stayed the first year, the two of us went, Eric, which wasn't bad, by the way.
The first year when both of us were there. Yeah. The rinky-dink hotel with the questionable pool right behind the Jack in the Box.
That's correct, right.
That was the saving grace. I thought like, oh, yay, pool. No, Jack in the Box.
I mean, that hotel was fine. Like the room was fine. It functioned the way it needed to function. But there's nothing better than having a hotel that's a stone's throw when you have to make multiple drop-offs.
It was so great because
we need a place to stop or just take a break. Because if you have to travel far, it's 20 or 30 minutes on the light rail, 20 or 30 minutes back, and you're packed in you're packed on a subway car like freaking sardines.
And if you don't want to, everything that you have in your bag, whether you bought it or it was promotional stuff from when we used to do the interviews, they would give us stuff. And we'd have these bags of things, and we had to carry that around all day and not run back to the hotel room. Right. That would have been a disaster because you're carrying way too many things. Now here it's like, okay, we have we get up, we have breakfast, we go downstairs in that same hotel, one of the convention rooms or the ballrooms, whatever. There's the press line and question stuff for this particular property. Then we have some time. We go across the street over to the Hard Rock, do an interview there. Maybe go over to one of the other buildings right near there, do an interview. Then we have an hour to kill before the next one, so we can go back to the hotel, drop everything off, get water, maybe change clothes because you're sweating like crazy outside. It's all It's not even humidity. It's just direct sunlight on top of you. Yeah. But being able to throw shit back in that hotel and then go back, maybe, we got some time to kill. Let's go over to the floor, do a little shopping, see what's going on there, run back, grab the equipment, it made it so much easier. But having to do the lottery would have been a nightmare.
Yeah. So I don't know. San Diego continues to grow, and I think it continues to become unappealing for some people. And for the younger audience, I think it gives them an opportunity to go, but there's also the financial component of it. Right. Most hotel rooms are anywhere between $200 and $400 a night.
Yeah, it's not a cheap vacation.
No, and if you're flying from the East Coast, it's like $1,200 in airfare. There's nothing about it is cheap.
Yeah, and if you go to dine too, like say you go there as a spectator, you got your passes to the convention floor, maybe you get into a panel or two, you get to some kind of pop-up event, things like that. The restaurant service, they're all limited menus. You walk in and they got some dopey, comic book bullshit cliche font and graphic on there, and you're like, oh, it's a set menu. You can't order anything that you want. It's like everybody's got a wacky cheeseburger name, and that's about it. And it's like, why did I even bother?
Yeah, I don't know. Most of the allure is over for me. But the first 3 days, I don't know. I was excited to hear about the Toys That Made Us getting picked back up and the spinoff I thought that was kind of cool. I think that was Friday that got announced.
Right. Two other things before you keep going. One, they announced that San Diego, since we were talking about everything, is going to be home to the convention for another 3 years.
Yeah, they renegotiated that contract.
Because the convention in Anaheim has been trying to get them to leave San Diego for at least 10 years now.
Yeah, and there's no room to grow in San Diego, which is part of the problem. They want to grow and they can't.
Yeah. So weird. And you see how big that place is. And you go, wow, they outgrew that. Just like the Javits Center here in New York for New York Comic Con. You think, well, they got downstairs. They're never going to fill all this up. Now they got that back part that they never opened. They can fill that up. Now it's got a higher attendance. I think the last 2 years had more people in that place in the Javits Center for New York Comic Con than San Diego had. And two, New York has to spread out to several buildings around the city because they can't. And it's not even within walking distance like San Diego is.
It's a mess. It's a hot mess. Conventions are a hot mess.
So they're staying in San Diego for 3 years. The other thing, because you mentioned flight, and then we'll get back into the other stuff that you liked from the first half. Did you see that thing about Delta Airlines? About people, if you were flying to San Diego and you had your con pass and whatever, they were giving you Nintendo Switch.
What?
Yeah.
To keep or just to have on the plane?
No, they were giving out. It was a promotional thing with Delta that if you were going to San Diego, and I don't know if there was a limitation of where you were flying from that you got it, but they had it where if you showed that you were going to San Diego, you had your pass, you had your ticket or whatever, they gave you a Nintendo Switch on the flight just for going to San Diego.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
I didn't hear that.
Matt and I got rocks. Every time we go, it's like,
I got a rock.
Can I get a drink?
I got nothing every time I went. Oh,
can I get a drink? Well, we'll let you have one drink. Well, is there any snacks? Yes, you have to buy an $8 snack box.
It was Southwest.
Really? The thing I had
Southwest
here said
Airlines
Delta.
This summer, Southwest Airlines has partnered with Nintendo Switch to provide an unexpected experience in the sky. As part of their promotion, Southwest gave away 3 Nintendo Switch gaming systems with the opportunity to play Super Mario Maker 2. Yeah.
All right. Well, the thing I had was wrong, but it was Southwest then, but I knew one of the airlines had it.
Yeah.
Still, a Switch is a pretty cool deal.
I mean, it's a $300 gaming system. Yeah, God, there's there's just photos on this plane, and it's just like 30 people playing the Switch. It's pretty insane.
I want that. I take the flight just for the Switch, just to travel.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Eat some airport food, fly back, get a Switch.
It's like
Hot damn.
Realize, Brian, that you could have the money you spent on that flight to get the free Switch. You could have just bought a Switch.
Yeah, but I couldn't have just gotten a free flight and flown somewhere and come back. Like, how else am I going to find a Cinnabon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was one in that airport you were just at.
Exactly, Eric.
Yeah.
Anyway, continuing on, Matt, the first half of San Diego, yes, you said that it didn't seem that exciting. It seemed kind of dull this year. Not a lot of people were really excited. I thought maybe because of all the Disney stuff going on, it seemed like there was a lack of incentive to do anything big for Marvel, Disney, whatever, at San Diego, which we found out at this juncture now that was not the case. There was something big that was going on. But yeah, it just seemed like a lot. There wasn't really much drive or anything really attracting you to going to San Diego this year.
So, I mean, from a media standpoint, the first few days seemed kind of lackluster, but from like a product standpoint, some of the big toy companies had some pretty cool things. Sideshow had some amazing things. Mezco had some really cool pieces. So from that standpoint, that was pretty cool. But again, those are not really revealed day to day. Those are pretty much revealed as the show floor opens on Wednesday.
Were they exclusives or were they just your first opportunity to buy? Is that
first opportunity to see them, not even buy them? First opportunity to see them.
Okay.
For the coming year.
Anything that caught your eye?
Mezco had a bunch of new pieces in their 112 collection, a bunch of new Spidey pieces and Batman pieces. The 1989 Batman piece was pretty awesome.
Ooh, okay.
That was really, really cool. I'm trying to think. Sideshow had some amazing statues this year, like from the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. And oh my God, the Sideshow Marvel statue diorama. Did you see that? It's
That's
like
not.
No.
It's like 40 statues, Like you buy them individually and it makes this huge diorama, and it's essentially the end scene of Endgame.
That's cool.
It's insane. It looks
how big of a room do you need to be to set it up?
A very big room. You need a lot of dedicated space.
Like how big are the figures?
I think they were all in the like 12 to 15 inch.
Okay, wow.
Sort of.
Some of these are huge.
Setup.
Yeah, Thanos looks huge.
Thanos is probably the biggest one out of the whole lot, but the way they had it all set up in the booth, I mean, it was impressive. So yeah, from a product standpoint, there was some really, really cool stuff that they have released.
Anything that you're gonna the Sideshow's the one that does the pricing, right? That has the pay plan option or something.
Yeah, honestly, there's a new Spider-Man statue that I've already pre-ordered. And then there's another Spider-Man statue from Spider-Verse. It's Spider-Man Noir, which he was a great character in Spider-Verse.
He was the black and white one?
Yes, the black and white one.
Okay.
And on the shoulder of Spider-Man Noir is Peter Porker's Spider-Ham. And I have a Spider-Ham collection. So that one is probably gonna happen too.
Wow. That does sound pretty good.
Yeah, I don't know. So from a product standpoint, there was some really, really cool stuff. But yeah, media-wise, I don't know. The first couple of days was pretty lackluster. As a matter of fact, nothing really blew up. I don't feel like until Marvel kind of was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, it started off. I think the first two things that kicked everything off was the new Red Band, very horrific, It Chapter 2 trailer came out,
right,
and then quickly followed by Kevin Smith's Jay and Silent Bob reboot trailer.
Correct.
Were the first two things to kick off. Which, by the way, what'd you think of Reboot?
It looks funny. I'm happy to see everybody back. I mean, I'm happy to see everybody back. We'll see how it is.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
I'm trying to see if I can get us passes to the. What he's doing is he put the trailer out and then he's touring the movie like a special presentation thing, like he did with Red State. Did either one of you come with me to Red State at Radio City?
No.
I've seen Red State, but I didn't go with you.
Okay. So he's doing something like that. I'm trying to see if we can get passes. But the New York date has no venue or no information. They just have a date for, I think, August 9th. But there's no anything. So I just wrote to him, like, could you let me know? I'd like to buy a ticket, please.
Yeah, right.
If at all possible. I see 50 other cities or 50 other showings all said. Click the links for the tickets. New York doesn't have one, and I think one other city didn't have one either. But they said they're adding more as they go, so I'll wait and see about that. I'm excited. I want to see that. Right after that was Terminator Dark Fate. Any interest in that? Are you a Terminator fan?
I am a Terminator fan. I have an interest in seeing it only because of the return of Ed Furlong and Linda Hamilton. I kind of want to see what they do with them, and because it's Cameron's true vision for after T2.
Right.
I don't know that I'm going to rush out and see it in the theater, but I'll probably check it out.
Yeah.
Then what did we have after that? We had the Halloween announcement with Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And returning Jamie Lee Curtis, Danny McBride, the gentleman, I forget his name, who directed the last one, is returning. And also announcing that John Carpenter is involved for the next two movies.
Yeah. Meh. I mean, for me personally, meh.
Yeah, same here.
I'm never a big fan of the Halloween franchise. It's probably the one that I'm least excited about, generally speaking. So
I never really liked the Halloween one either. It was never for me. Like Halloween, Amityville Horror, I was always like meh on. They were never like great to me.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I don't really feel. And those are the ones that get the most remakes. I'm just like, nah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, well, you don't have to go see that then. What else did we have here? Top Gun Maverick, which I saw Top Gun, I think, once in the 80s. And all I remember is the motorcycle scene and the volleyball scene, because everybody used to make fun of the volleyball scene.
I love that volleyball scene, Eric.
I acted out daily.
I liked Top Gun
hanging with
when
the
it came
boys.
out, but I have no interest in a sequel like 50 years later. Like
Nope.
I don't need that.
What is interesting about the trailer is that it looks like he's done nothing. the guy that everybody knows, a guy that they went to high school with, never left the town, never explored the rest of the world, never really did anything, went right into a job and is still doing the same thing. This is what it looks like, because the one admiral is kind of scolding him. I'm forgetting the actor's name, but he's saying, you should have been a 2-star admiral by now, yet you're a captain. What happened? And then Tom Cruise is just being all, flyboy, badass kind of,
right,
whatever. And then he's like, I'm Maverick. I do what I want. But it just seems like everybody shot past him, whether they're still active or not. But whoever was still involved in the Air Force or any part of their career all seem to have gone on to very successful things, except for him.
Right, exactly.
So that seemed like an interesting way to go, because usually you see like he would have been, like when they revisited Star Trek in the movies, now Captain Kirk was the admiral, and then he had to realize his true calling and demote him, get himself demoted to be back on the bridge of that ship. This isn't that. This was, he never went anywhere past that last time we saw him.
Right. I don't know. I just don't care enough, to be honest with you.
So, all right. So we had that, and then a bunch of, was there any other movie things? Oh, Cats. Who gives a fuck about Cats?
Yeah.
You know what? As far as Cats goes, like, the internet blew up with how awful everybody. I don't understand why people were so, like, they didn't look that bad to me. They looked like anthropomorphic cats to me.
Yeah, it's just freaky. I guess that's what it is. Like I said, this and the Sonic movie, it's just movies made for furries. It's their year. Let them have it.
But it's like, I don't... Like,
power positive thinking, Giddles.
Exactly.
But like, when I watched that trailer, I was like, I have no real interest in seeing this, but whatever, it looks fine. And then all of a sudden I saw, it's the scariest thing I've ever seen. Oh, my eyes bleed. And I was just like, really? Like, they look like fucking cats. Like, I don't know what you think a humanoid cat should look like.
Yeah, I don't know what Rumpel-Tum-Tugger is supposed to be looking like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's a cat that sings.
Yeah, like, I don't know. But whatever.
How about the fact that the cats have, like thumbs they can grab shit with? That should be freaking people out.
Exactly. Well, they're weird cat hybrids. I don't know.
They're cat people.
Did you see?
Cat people.
Did you see? There were two things in the New York Post. One, there was an article about people being quote unquote outraged that the actress, one of the lead actresses, I forget her name, a black girl, is being portrayed as a white cat. This was in the newspaper, and I go, either this is made up just for the headline, or if this is a real thing, of course people are going to complain.
It was in the New York Post, so it was that's not a real newspaper, so I don't take that as a true story.
Okay, exactly. Thank you.
Fair enough. But the other part was that they have said that they're looking at adapting another Andrew Lloyd Webber production, Starlight Express. Did any of you have to go see that as a kid?
Of course, but who cares? I mean, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah,
no, I know it's not my cup of tea, but do you remember what Starlight Express was? It was people dressed as trains.
It's roller derby.
Roller skating.
Yeah.
All right. Good luck with that. Maybe it'll work. We talked about S.H.I.E.L.D. I know. We talked about S.H.I.E.L.D. I know Matt punched out a long time ago with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like the rest of us.
I punched out before it began.
Yeah, so Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is continuing on there's 4 more episodes, and then they're pulling the plug, and Marvel wanted you to know that Marvel was pulling the plug. ABC did not cancel this show. Marvel decided to end this and I guess put it out of its misery.
They're going to pull the plug and then bring it back as a zombie version of the TV show, which is what led me to stop watching that crap TV show to begin with. That piece of shit.
Did they bring Coulson back into the movie fold, or?
Yeah. Not since Captain Marvel, no.
No, but will they now, going forward?
Maybe.
Now that, spoiler, that Nick is now Captain Nick of the cosmonauts.
Yeah. No, who knows? Who knows what they'll do? Who knows what they'll do? We
said Flintstones is being rebooted for an adult version. That's coming out with the executive producer Elizabeth Banks.
That's an animated series, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's coming back. The Expanse, which I keep meaning to watch and I forget to do that. So the DC Universe stuff. This is all TV stuff. So if you may or may not know, Matt is one of the biggest Green Arrow fans on the planet. And even he punched out of Arrow on the CW after being constantly disrespected for season after season. So they're going into their last season of Arrow, but the big fall crossover arc that they do every year is now Crisis on Infinite Earths, and it's going.
This I'm mildly interested in.
Okay, it involves Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and the new show that's starting this fall, Batwoman. It does not include Black Lightning, because Black Lightning's not part of any of this stuff, apparently. So he just sits there off to the side while everybody else is at the birthday party, and he has to look through the window.
Yeah. Oh, poor man. No, I'm only interested in Crisis because it's bringing in Tyler Hoechlin back as Superman, which I think is a good choice.
Right.
But it's also bringing in Brendan Routh
back as the Christopher Reeves continuation of Superman.
Correct.
So if you don't know what this was, back it was 2005, 6, somewhere in there, they did Superman Returns, which...
It was the Bryan Singer one.
Right.
Yeah.
Where in the storyline, it takes place after Christopher Reeves' Superman 2. They were ignoring 3 and 4, and that this was going to be the new storyline for the Christopher Reeves. And he was the continuation, Brandon, of Christopher Reeves' portrayal of Superman. And I liked the movie, but it got panned as everybody calling him emo Superman.
I mean, it was pretty terrible. I thought Brendan Routh was fine, but I thought the movie overall was pretty terrible.
All right, fair. I thought he was a good Superman. I liked the part where he held the plane in the middle of the ballpark.
Not to mention, you have a bunch of, sexual predators involved in the film. That sort of tainted it as well.
Well, we didn't know back then, Matt. It was a different time.
We did not know back then that both Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey were pee-pee touchers. Who knew?
Well, so they're opening up their multiverse, if you will, with the Crisis on Infinite Earths, where these different Supermen are going to be a part of it. Now, what they have not denied, but they have not even announced that they were going to, is that could it be possible for them to open it up for, what is it, Tom Wells? Was that the guy? No, Tom Wellington. Wellington, who was Superman in Smallville for 10, 11 seasons. If that's going to cross over, because they already had that ranch and the exact ranch and farmland set.
Tom Welling,
because he's done with Lucifer, so they could bring him back for an alternate Superman in this whole thing here. They announced Burt Ward is going to be a part of it.
Yep.
And why would you have Burt Ward back unless he's going to be Robin, which I think makes sense for the Batwoman universe, where Batman is dead in there. And she's taken over the mantle. He could be a lot older, and you got old Robin comes back in some way, shape, or form in her universe. At least that's my theory.
I don't know. I might actually watch that because I'm kind of interested in how they pull all of that together. But And
then what else did they have here? They had some. You said there was some teasers for the Flash season, and what was the thing for Black Lightning, since it's not part of any of this?
I don't know. There was another sizzle reel that they released. I didn't actually watch it. I just know that it happened.
Okay. Rick and Morty, we mentioned them earlier. We talked about they had the teaser for Rick and Morty. Did you see the teaser?
I did see the teaser. Yes.
Very funny.
They already have that Funko Pop out for that character.
Yes.
Was that a San Diego exclusive?
I don't know if it was an exclusive, but I saw them after that little clip played. They announced the toy, so it might be an exclusive. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Walking Dead had a bunch of announcements. Do you care at all?
No.
Personally, I do not know.
Okay. Neither do me. Neither do I. Moving on. Veronica Mars surprised everybody by announcing season 4, which I think was crowdfunded, and then is put up on Hulu. And they announced, instead of showing a trailer, teaser, or whatever for the crowd, they said, if you watch this, you leave right now, you can watch season 4 on Hulu. They debuted it at the event. Then she ran across the hall to do The Good Place and announced that, oh yeah, we're done after this new season that's coming up. We're done with everything.
I think people who watched The New Place knew that was coming, though. Just back to Rick and Morty very quickly.
Sure.
Because I don't want to gloss over the fact that it's Taika Waititi that is voicing Gluty.
Oh, nice.
For the upcoming season of Rick and Morty.
Who is that?
He's the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, I thought that was him. He was
he's a director and an actor.
What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah.
Moving on. Oh, one other thing that was past news before we get into the Marvel stuff: The Witcher. I know you're a fan of the game.
Oh yeah, I think that looks really good. I'm pretty excited to watch that. Actually,
the trailer is out. It's up on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ErikNagel. You can watch the trailer for season 1 of The Witcher, which is going to be on Netflix. They also, I saw another piece about it saying that it's not going to tie into the video game stories at all. It's just going to be separate.
Yeah, I think it's based loosely on the video game more than it is the books that the game is based on.
Yeah, there's 8 books apparently.
But yeah, I'm not surprised that it's not a direct adaptation of the game. I'm not surprised that they're trying to,
build their own thing.
Yeah.
Also from Netflix, Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance. I talked about this. I have not seen the original Dark Crystal. I should. But
you should see
that. Terrifying.
People seem very
terrifying.
That's what I get a lot. I posted that I hadn't seen the original one. Everyone said this terrified me as a child.
It's
terrifying
creepy.
now.
The Skeksis are still some of the creepiest puppets that Jim Henson has ever created.
Dude, there's like scenes where they're taking like these like cute little guys and literally just sucking their souls until like all the air is like deflated out of the puppets. It's like fucking scary, dude.
Yeah, it's creepy as shit.
And they're all like, "That don't kill me."
Yeah.
The Russo brothers announced plans for reviving Battle of the Planets. That was never anything I watched. I think that was actually before me.
Well, I feel like Earth is going to win. Have you seen our competition? Like, there's no one on any of those planets. Like, we are so going to win.
I don't know. It all depends on if we put up the Area 51 meme people or not. But
we can do that.
But no, I liked Battle of the Planets. Battle of the Planets was another one of those 1970s animes.
Yeah.
The original was Gotcha Man or G-Men. It had like 15 different names depending on where it was that you watched it. It was a manga before that. It was rebooted as a comic book series with art by Alex Ross. He did all the cover art. And it's one of those properties that has been around for like 50 years. It's a great property. I'm interested to see what the Russo brothers do with it. They Russo brothers have a knack for doing big scale intergalactic battles. So
sounds like something up their alley.
It sounds like something they might be able to handle. I'm just putting it out there.
Imagine it's this big scale animation thing, and the sound effects are just cheap stock libraries, like pew pew pew.
Or it's just like Danger 5 puppets, like with strings. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah. Oh well. Matthew, any interest in the trailers for Preacher Season 4, HBO's The Watchmen, or the new Season 4 for Fargo?
I haven't watched Fargo like ever, although I hear it's amazing. I'm really behind on Preacher. So, I mean, I'm excited that it is continuing and I eventually want to catch up on it, but I didn't watch the trailer because I'm so far behind.
This is the last
season of Preacher.
Yep.
Yeah. And Watchmen, I'm still really conflicted about. I still don't know how to feel about Watchmen.
I think I don't know enough to be excited for the Watchmen thing. I think I have to go back and watch the movie again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I have the graphic novel that I read when that was all coming out. Dr. Steve got me the big box set for the graphic novel, and I read through it. But I think I have to go back through it again. People were excited because this trailer that they put out introduces Dr. Manhattan, that he's still part of the future of what they're doing here with the Watchmen.
Fair enough.
Westworld Season 3, is that any interest to you or no?
I never watched Season 2.
Yeah, same. I didn't hear anybody being like, you got to watch Season 2.
Right.
So I'm kind of on the fence about watching Season 2.
Yeah, like I definitely, I don't know. It's another one of those series where I went through that weird phase, and I think I'm still partially in that phase, but I went through this weird phase where I just didn't want to deal with like heavy television. Like I felt like the world around me was so heavy on a regular basis that the last thing I wanted to do was dive into like heavy television.
Right.
So I just resorted to like stupid television or check your brain at the door television or other hobbies. And so I just gave up on anything that had too serious of an overtone to it.
Right.
Westworld was unfortunately sacrificed. It's something that I want to go back to because I loved season 1. But I'm way behind on Westworld also.
Where are you with Star Trek Picard?
Don't care.
Don't care?
No, I'm not a Star Trek fan. I'm not going to get all access because I refuse to pay for another streaming service.
Right.
Yeah, seriously.
I think this is the only time I'm going to pay for it like, especially if they have a trial run. Like
right.
If you got a week free or something, I'm going to plow through that thing and cancel immediately.
Yeah.
I want to see it, but I don't want to keep it.
Yeah. So everybody is crazy about it. I just have no interest personally.
Gotcha. I'm trying to see if there's anything else TV-wise. Oh, if you wanted something a little lighter, DuckTales. Did you see what DuckTales is doing?
They're bringing in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Yeah, I saw an article from Disney said DuckTales is turning into the Avengers. And so they're bringing in Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, Darkwing Duck, and they brought Daisy Duck back, and Goofy is back. But they didn't say anything about Goof Troop. They didn't say anything about, what were some of the other Disney things? They had Gummy Bears and something else.
Yeah, so the classic ones, the ones that were really big during that period were Chip and Dale, Tailspin, and DuckTales.
And Darkwing Duck.
And Darkwing Duck.
Right.
Gummy Bears sort of sat by itself in a weird corner of the Disney universe. But look, I think it's smart because the DuckTales reboot has been really well received. It's actually very clever and pretty funny, and it hits on multiple levels for adults and children. I've watched a bunch of it, although not all of it. And I think that if they can use that as a launching point to bring back some of those shows, it's a great idea because from an animation standpoint, as far as actual Disney characters are concerned, Disney has been in a bit of a slump from its television series.
Right.
And if they can use DuckTales to relaunch some of those series, why not? I mean, I liked Chip and Dale's. I liked Tailspin. I liked Darkwing Duck. They're all kind of silly. So whatever. I'm down. I'm cool with it.
And they brought the evil the other Scottish duck, the evil one, Glumgold.
Glumgold, yep, and they already brought back Magica Dispel, I think, in like season 1.
They did?
I think so, yeah.
Here's the problem I had with it. I never knew when it was on, and I didn't know if I had to watch it in order to understand some of the stuff going on, so I just never watched it. I was waiting for them to put it out on a set somewhere, and they just did like 6 great episodes, and that was it. So I'm gonna have to go up on demand and find season 1 and plow through the whole thing and check it out. There was a funny viral thing on YouTube that they did where Glumgold took over the DuckTales theme song. Like he broke into the studio where they were making everything, and he switched the whole thing around to make the whole theme song about himself.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
Let's move on to the final thing for today, the big thing everybody was waiting for at San Diego, and this would be the Marvel panel at Hall H, which happened on Saturday night. Kevin Feige came out on the stage to a big applause, had the microphones talking a little bit, and then released a skeleton timeline. And everyone's applauding, but also he's like waiting, but everyone's looking at the timeline. Wait, first this is 2 years for phase 4. It's only 2 years.
Right.
But 2021 had like 7 slots. So everyone's like, they're putting out 7 movies in 1 year.
Well, most of those are for the Disney Plus service.
Well, that's the thing. People in the hall didn't know because if you're looking at the feeds, everyone's like, holy shit, 7 movies. Like nobody thought about Disney Plus at that moment. They were all thinking the movie stuff. They forgot about the TV stuff.
Which is so funny because most of those titles had been announced for TV Plus or Disney Plus like a while ago.
Right.
Like 8 months ago.
Well, this was the big reveal. You see the skeleton timeline. People are going crazy because they're thinking all these are movies. Everyone's forgetting, at least in the moment. Everyone's caught up in the moment. They're excited. They're energetic. And they were like, they forgot that Disney Plus was a thing at that moment. They're all just thinking movies. So then one by one, he starts going through. And he tells you what's going to be a movie and what's going to be for Disney Plus. First thing he announces is The Eternals, which we knew they were putting together, but this was the official announcement and the confirmation of who Selma Hayek's character is going to be, because she was the last news we had on that was that she was joining the cast, but they never said who she was going to be.
Right.
So she's going to be I guess there's a leader for this group of Eternals.
Yes. Ajax is the character that she's going to
from
be
Duckman.
Yes, from Duckman.
That'd be awesome.
No, she's the leader of the Eternals. And Richard Madden is playing Icarus, who I think they were the 2 sort of heads of that team.
All right. And the big pop for Angelina Jolie, who came out last.
Yep.
She's playing Thena, I think.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm excited about this because I know very little about anything with the Eternals. Like this went far beyond my understanding of comic book stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're like, I don't know. They were created by Jack Kirby.
Are they god level?
Yeah,
Like if Thor's demigod level, then they're god. They're above that.
No, they're probably right around they're immortal. So yeah, I guess they are above that. I guess they are god level. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that seemed to get a big pop.
Yeah.
I think that's the first. Before we get into everything, I think that's the first movie that's coming out in 2021.
Black Widow is first.
For 2021 or 2020?
No, Black Widow is May 2020. Eternals is November 2020.
Oh, okay. I thought Eternals was the first for the next year. All right, so that answers my other question then. So I was watching the thing. I was watching the feeds. I couldn't understand if Black Widow was a TV thing or if it was a movie.
Nope, that's a film. That's the first film in Phase 4.
So it's going to be her in Budapest.
We don't know. We don't know yet.
No, okay. Then people are speculating because everything I read was saying that they think this was taking place in Budapest.
Everybody has been saying that because that's been the big joke.
The
since
running
they
gag with her and
introduced
Hawkeye.
Yeah, you remember Budapest differently than I. That's been the running joke since forever. So, I think that it ends in Budapest. That's how I think it ends. I think it probably has a lot to do with her origin.
Right.
We got a tease for who the lead villain is going to be in the film. It's going to be Taskmaster. I don't know. I'm pretty excited for that too. Honestly, I'm excited for all of the Marvel properties only because I think they've done such a great job, generally speaking, so far, that I have just a certain level of comfort with them. And if one fails, but at least going in, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I have faith. You know what I mean?
Well, there's the Black Widow movie, and then if Hawkeye's a part of that or not, we don't know. But Hawkeye has his own series on Plus now, and they're saying that it's introducing Kate Bishop, which is the person who becomes Hawkeye when he becomes Ronin, right?
That is correct.
Now, wasn't Kate Bishop supposed to be his daughter? Because we saw that at the beginning of Endgame. Everybody thought when they were showing his daughter how to.
I think he's just training his daughter to, defend herself.
Okay.
Everybody likes to look at these movies, and they all think that these movies are very ancestral, right? Like everybody has to be like it's the whole Star Wars thing. Like Rey has to be Luke's daughter or Han's daughter. Like everything has to be related to somebody else, and sometimes they're just somebody new,
right?
And that's okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. New people are new people.
That's just it.
So Hawkeye series for Disney Plus. He will be there as Hawkeye, and this takes place like Spider-Man: Far From Home took place immediately after Endgame. Hawkeye does take place immediately after Endgame, and it's his story of coping and recovering from the events of everything there and moving on. And like we said, Kate Bishop does show up as the new Hawkeye for that. Then there was a couple other shows. That one I was curious about, the WandaVision. Is that something really anybody cares about, or?
I don't know. I don't know. That's going to be really weird because I have no idea what it has to do with. So that's probably the one
has a lot of question marks around.
Yeah, I'm least excited about, only because I have no idea what they're going to try to do with it.
Now, Vision's back for this. Now, we don't know if this is before the events of Infinity War and Endgame, or is this after Captain returned the stone and she brought him back?
Yeah, I have no idea.
So it could be anything at this point.
Right.
All right. Then you have Loki, which is another Disney Plus program, which will explain what happened to Loki in Endgame. What last we saw him, he had one of the stone. Which stone did he have? The blue one. What's the
Tesseract?
The Tesseract. He disappeared through the little vortex that he made, and you didn't see or hear from him again for the rest of the movie. So you don't know what happened to him. They said this takes place right after he leaves that scene, and then what goes on with him until he rejoins the movie universe again.
Well, based on the way the logo looks, it looks like he just goes to various places.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe finds his way home.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have that, and that was then the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is a TV series for Disney Plus.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm excited about that because I wonder if it's going to lead into the transition of Falcon really taking on the
Captain America role.
mantle. Yeah.
So maybe this is just him dealing with it, like, again, post Endgame stuff, and him dealing with the fact that eventually he's going to have to step up and be this thing. That's a good way to to take it.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think it's the transition from him becoming from Falcon to Captain America. If I had a guess, that's what I would say.
All right. Back to the movies. You have Thor 4 was announced. Thor Love and Thunder, which I'm not crazy about the title, but it's going to center more, it looks like, around Valkyrie, who was made King of Asgard in Endgame. Right. Thor is a part of this movie, but they brought Natalie Portman back, and now she's going to be female Thor.
Right. So it's just Thor that she's going to be portraying. And I suspect this is partially because Thor is still going to be with Guardians.
Right. But they said he is in the movie.
Yeah, I know. I don't doubt that he's in the movie because he has Mjolnir back. So he might have to pass that off to her.
So he keeps Stormbreaker and then she gets the hammer?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would think.
All right. So, all right, we'll see where that goes. And that's being directed by the gentleman who did Thor Ragnarok.
Taika
Waititi. So you have that. Then you also have, we talked about Black Widow. You have, I'm curious about, Shang-Chi? Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, what is that? Is that a show or a movie?
My question is this. Was he a street level superhero that eventually becomes a bigger... Yes.
So when he was introduced originally in the 70s in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he was essentially someone at Marvel was like, wow, this kung fu,
craze.
Bruce Lee stuff is real popular right now.
We should have a kung fu guy.
We should have a kung fu guy, and that's sort of what the character was. The part that's interesting to me is that they're going to the Legend of the Ten Rings is. It's a reference back to the Mandarin and the real Mandarin, not the fake Mandarin that we saw in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I like those. I really like those like B and C level, street level characters. I think they're really fun to tell a story with because they are so grounded and you get rid of a lot of the pomp and circumstance and ridiculousness of the over-the-top special effects.
And what is meant... sorry, go ahead.
No, so I'm hoping that just the story is good and it's a fun movie.
What is meant by street level for those who might be asking why we keep saying that? They're superhero characters, but they're not the over-the-top powerful ones like an Iron Man, like a Captain America. They're from your Netflix world, Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. They have some abilities, but they're not like... completely invincible. They're not the ones that can stop a super villain. And
so out of all of the ones that you just mentioned, the only two that I actually consider to be street level are Daredevil and Punisher. I don't consider Jessica Jones or Luke Cage to be street level.
What do you?
Because they have like inherent powers, right?
And they're really fucking strong. They didn't show it off in the shows as much.
Okay, because Jessica Jones, she didn't look that strong at all.
No, she's really fucking strong, and so is Luke Cage.
Well, Luke Cage did. He was being shot at. Yeah. He ripped things open. Right. Like he looked. You could see he was strong. Daredevil was just like, I can open a door.
Punisher has no real powers. Like Daredevil gets shot, he dies. Punisher gets shot, he dies.
Right
there, like that's what I consider a street level characters are those types of characters.
Yeah, and Daredevil had to like learn his whole like fighting and how to use his blindness to his ability and everything.
Well, I got to ask them because I didn't know much about this character, and I went and read up yesterday, and like you said, he came about during the whole kung fu craze. Apparently, they were trying to get the rights to. There was a kung fu TV show that Marvel
the one with what's his name in it.
Yeah, I'm forgetting his name, but they were trying to buy the rights to that, and they couldn't get the rights, so they made this thing. It was like he had different names. It was like Shang-Chi, Kung Fu, whatever, and they kept changing around. But from what I understand, or at least you know this character better than I would, so he's sort of a lower level superhero, but eventually he gets some kind of ability where he can make infinite copies of himself.
Yeah, it started to get a bit hokey at somewhere down the line.
Because then I saw that he was in the Avengers at one point. So is he one? I was going to ask, is he like a street level character that grew up to, or eventually evolved into being a bigger character that he could compete on a higher level? Or
yeah, I think that was their way of trying to continue the character in the books, but I don't know.
All right. Are you excited for this or not? I'm interested to see it because I don't really know anything about it, and that kind of makes it exciting for me to learn a whole new story.
I am excited for it, but for the same reason I said. I like those kind of grounded characters. So
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we have that. Then we move over to Doctor Strange 2, which got a huge pop. And this then opens up the world that we thought was going to happen in Spider-Man Far From Home, and it turned out to be a hoax. Right. This is now Doctor Strange in the multiverse of madness. So this is officially opening the multiverse now for the Marvel cinematic universe. I
mean, I don't know enough about it to really comment, but I'm excited at the prospect of a multiverse.
Me too.
I'm excited about the return of Doctor Strange.
I didn't know, I knew of, but didn't really know anything Doctor Strange growing up. Like, I didn't read those stories. But because of the movie and because of everything else, got me interested to go back and look at it. And you really realize how great some of these stories are for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, if you don't want a regular fighting kind of superhero thing like a Captain Marvel or Iron Man kind of thing, if you read Doctor Strange, it lives up to its name. A lot of magic shit, a lot of multidimensional stuff, a lot of craziness in there that really makes for some interesting stories.
Right.
So that's coming out, Doctor Strange number 2. I don't want to get to that thing yet. Oh, What If? Tell me about What If.
Yeah, what is that?
What If was a book that Marvel put out years ago, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's like
a game show with Marvel superheroes.
No, but it was like all of these. It was all of these
Spider-Man doing Plinko.
Yeah.
It was all of these weird alternate storylines. Like it was like, well, what if Peter wasn't bitten by the spider? Or
that's cool.
What if Wolverine didn't get the adamantium? Like it was that kind of concept.
So it was a bunch of different one-off, like pot smoking ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
You just see like Wolverine doing taxes for somebody.
Yeah. So
what if Hulk was blue, like a Smurf? White pants, blue skin.
So the interesting thing about What If is that it was all sort of presented in this weird multiverse sort of storyline. So it was like, well, what if Peter didn't get bitten by the spider, but Mary Jane did, for the sake of conversation, right? And then so it told that story. And so really,
isn't that the Spider-Gwen story?
Well, kind of, yeah. So, but remember, the Spider-Gwen story is also a multiverse story, and this show conveniently comes out after, I think, time frame wise, the Doctor Strange movie, and it also introduces or reintroduces the Watchers back into the universe. So I honestly think that this
because it's narrated by one of the Watchers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So I honestly just think that this is, I think this is their way of exploring a lot of those characters, and it's going to be their way to introduce and cherry pick characters they want to play with. Like this is how they're going to eventually introduce Miles Morales, and this is how they're eventually, this might be how we finally get the mutants.
The new mutants, you mean?
No, the mutants, because right now in the current Marvel universe, as far as we know, mutants don't exist. So unless it's been brushed under the rug completely, mutants do not exist.
That's how you bring X-Men in.
So unless they're going to figure out a way to suddenly create this mutant boom, which would be really awkward and shoehorning, I don't know. What if they suddenly came over from the multiverse and were morphed back into the regular MCU story? Like, that's what I think. I think that this show is an excuse to fix a lot of weird shit that I don't think they planned for 15 years ago or however many years ago Iron Man came out, and now they have to retcon to make sense and go forward. And What If is the way to fix it.
Okay.
That's what I think.
So does that apply to Deadpool too then? Because I noticed
Absolutely.
Phase 4 is only a 2-year phase, at least as far as we know right now, with a ton of projects in there, and none of it includes X-Men or the Deadpool, which Deadpool 3, which they said is coming, but there was no time slot for that yet.
So two things, and then we're gonna have to saunter forward quickly. But I think that we're gonna get the rest of the Phase 4 announcements at D23, and I think that's why Kevin Feige teased it at Hall H, where he said, I didn't even have a chance to get to X-Men or Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
I think all of that is going to be D23 announcements.
Yeah, in line with what you said there, X-Men. He said, well, he didn't say X-Men. He said mutants, so that could have been anything. But everybody's hoping it's X-Men. The fact that he said Fantastic Four was really cool because up until this point, we were sort of unofficially told that they were going to wait like at least 3 years now that the merger was done to finish phase 4 and then work them in, cleanse the palette from the previous stuff.
And they might still, if they do 2022, it's 3 years.
That is true. Okay. So they said that, mutants, Fantastic Four, Black Panther 2, Captain Marvel 2, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. And that's the only one they don't have an official date because they're waiting for James Gunn to finish the other project with DC and then come over and start working on 3 again.
Correct.
The last thing that we have to get to, and this was the big surprise at the end. I was very excited, and I have to say, if they don't find a way to include the previous person from this role somewhere in this, I might be a little disappointed, but they announced that Blade is returning and going to be part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I forget the gentleman's name, but he's Cottonmouth in...
Mahershala Ali.
Thank you. He's Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage series, which was on Netflix.
Yeah,
and
he's also the 2-time Academy Award winner.
Yeah, he's kind of a big deal. And but for now, I'll just call him Cottonmouth. And so he came out, he threw on a hat, and it said Blade, and then they went to the graphics, and people were crazy. And this was interesting, and I'm a big fan of the Blade franchise. I like the movies with Wesley Snipes, but there was no talk, like this kind of went unnoticed, when tossed to the wayside, where Blade just was never talked about again, really ever since that third movie came out and didn't do well. With all the Marvel stuff that was going on in the last 10, 12 years, Blade was never a discussion anywhere publicly by any aspect of Marvel. And then out of nowhere, boom, here it is. I was very excited for that.
So Marvel didn't have the rights to Blade back until like 2013 or 2014.
Was that a Fox property too?
It was not a Fox property, but it was the same. They got it back the same time they got back Ghost Rider and Punisher. Blade was lumped into whatever deal that was back then. So I don't think that they had teased it. I also don't think they wanted to walk down the horror path. So back to something that Kevin Feige said, he did not say X-Men, he said mutant.
Yes.
And so what I think is that Blade is going to be a cornerstone of the horror element of the Marvel universe. And the New Mutants movie, which is filmed and ready to go, which was also supposed to be a horror movie, they yanked it and it didn't get released. And I wonder if the New Mutants is going to be our first introduction of the mutants into the MCU. And it is going to be part of that horror wing of the Marvel universe. And that's why he didn't say X-Men and he only said mutants, which is sort of a technicality, but it's a play on words and it would make sense because I highly doubt they're going to scrap that project entirely.
Right.
Because it has a pretty decent cast and it's done and ready to go. So I think again, this all ties in and someone in the back room at Marvel is just shuffling the cards and making it all make sense.
Two quick things with that. One, with the mutant stuff, then, all right, Blade, fine. But bringing out New Mutants before X-Men, does that kind of water down X-Men, considering X-Men was before New Mutants?
Well, the New Mutants have been around for a really, really long time.
Right.
Yes, but after the X-Men. But they've been around for a really, really long time. But remember, the X-Men weren't the original mutants. They were just sort of the ones we were originally introduced to.
Right.
And again, if they're pulling from the multiverse, who's to say that the New Mutants are the first ones to somehow come over? Or who's to say that the New Mutants movie doesn't take place in the multiverse, but the X-Men will be the first ones that we see in the actual current Marvel universe? Like, there's so many ways to play with that I don't think anything is off the table.
Okay.
I think we just have to wait and see how it all unfolds.
The second part with the horror movie stuff, I read some things that Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is also going down that horror route. It's not going to be the wild, crazy, psychedelic looking thing like the first one. This one's going to get a lot more darker, a lot more terrifying.
Good. It should. Let them play with the dark arts. It's a lot of fun.
I think it's great. Believe me, I would love it. I mean, because you got on the whole spectrum of things, you've got something light and fun and whatever for the kids and the family with Spider-Man's properties. You know, they're not as heavy as, say, the Iron Man and Captain America stuff. And then if you want to go super dark, now that you got stuff like Blade, you got mutants, you got Doctor Strange going in this direction, there's something for everybody here. Is it possible that as they keep going, is it going to get too big that they can't manage this?
I don't think so.
No?
Nah.
You think they'll juggle all of this just fine?
Of course.
Does DC have a shot in hell?
No. No, come on.
Let's reboot Superman. Good luck.
No.
I think that's it for the Marvel stuff. Was there anything else that we were missing or no?
No, I think that's all of it.
All right, so D23 is when you said second week of August?
It's August. It's August 10th and to the 13th or something like that.
All right, so we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll see what happens with Marvel there. We'd love to have you back on, Matt, after that to discuss those kind of things of whatever they're going to announce there, because Giddles and I will be all excited for Simpsons, but Marvel will be, a nice cherry on top of all of that.
For sure.
I think that's it for San Diego Comic-Con, unless there was anything else that I think that we missed.
That's all I got. I have to boogaloogaloo.
All right.
Yeah, I got nothing else from Comic-Con. You know me, I don't know the Marvel stuff that well, so I'm like,
Yeah, who is that? That's Spider-Man. Oh.
Yeah, where's Captain Fantastic and the people from the future?
Yeah.
Where's the rubber band guy?
Yeah.
Let's do the plugs here. Matt OG, what do you have, sir?
You can find me on social media. I am still Geek Stuff OG across all the social media platforms. And of course, twitch.tv/GeekStuffOG if you want to follow me there. I would appreciate it greatly.
Give that again. Giddles coughed over your plug.
Twitch.tv/GeekStuffOG.
I was hoping Giddles would cough again a second time. Giddles, what do you have, sir?
Giddle-based Twitter, Instagram, Xbox Live, and that's it right now.
All right. For me, it's E-Rock Radio across the board on social media, but more importantly, the show. It's Erik Nagel across the board on social media. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you want to leave a voicemail to be used on future shows, 651-SMITHERS is the phone number, 651-764-8437. And with that being said, it is time to get out of here. So until the next time, everybody.
Oops, I forgot. Be excellent to each other.
And have a wonderful time.
And we'll be seeing you. San Diego.
And that's all the time we have.
Go fuck yourself, San Diego.
Follow the show at It's Erik Nagel on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. The show should be back next week.
Nice work, everyone. Sharp broadcast. Really good. Everyone on the floor as well. Really a lot of hustle. I liked it.
Keep it real.